Hi, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and I'm here today to talk about my favorite game mechanism in Stone Age, a classic worker placement game. Stone Age has a lot of clever little things about it, but I'm here to talk about my favorite mechanism, and that is the series of cards that come out on the bottom of the board. You can see where they come out here. There are 4 of them on the board at all times, and they're priced based on their current location on this little line here. So a card here costs 1 of any resource, a card here is 2 of any resource, 3 and 4. And every round, as cards are bought, more often than not from the cheaper end, the other cards that were not purchased slide down and get cheaper. I love when games do this. Stone Age isn't the only game that does this, but I love it for a couple reasons. One, I like the economy of it, trying to figure out exactly when a card is worth the purchase, and the tension of waiting to see if you will actually be able to purchase it or if someone else is going to jump in, if it's maybe worth more to another player. I love that it creates a ton of variability in the game. This is such a simple mechanism. It's just a deck of cards. It's not even a thick deck of cards. There are probably about 30 cards here. But every game they come out in a different time, in a different order, and they push you towards different strategies. All the cards have a different thing at the top of the card, something that you get right away, and then something at the bottom of the card that you get at the end of the game. So for example, this one says you get 3 points at the end of the game for every hut that you have. So if you get this card, you might focus a little bit more on a hut strategy, or later in the game if this card comes up and you've already gone after a hut strategy, then this card is worth more to you than other players who don't have that strategy. Also, it gives you a reason to pay attention to other players, because if another player does have a big hut strategy, you might think, okay, I need to grab this card even though I only have 2 huts, or this other player is going to get 30 points out of it. So all of these cards have a different top and a different bottom. There's also a set collection element where a bunch of the cards, they have something at the top you get, but at the bottom they have an icon. And if you create different sets of cards with different icons, there's another one of those icons, the more different types of cards you have, the greater the value of the set. So it's just a very simple mechanism that allows for a ton of variability in the game. The last part of this mechanism that I really love is that there's only 4 cards visible at any time on the board. I think this is key because sometimes we get information overload in games where there's like 30 cards on the board that we have to pay attention to, and that's way too many. I think that's pretty rare that there's 30, but usually there are quite a few cards. And especially for a game like this where the cards are constantly moving in and out of their spot, it's important that only 4 are visible at any time to cut down on analysis paralysis and to give you a clear idea of kind of the information that you can focus on right now rather than having information overload. The one other game that I will bring up that does this really well is Lewis and Clark, which has a very similar mechanism to this with cards that you can purchase. They enter kind of your deck once you buy them, and they each have a function they can serve in your deck. And in Lewis and Clark, the purchase cost of the card is connected both to the icon, the symbol above the card, and an icon that's on the card itself that might have a different number or icon. So I thought that was really clever. I'm sure this mechanism has a specific name that I'm not thinking of right now, but if you know the name, feel free to mention it in the comments. And if you can think of any other games that use this mechanism really well, this kind of the sliding scale of a very basic deck of cards or a basic set of tiles. There are a lot of games that do this, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments of your favorite games that use this type of mechanism. Thanks.